From the David S. Mack Sports and Exhibition Complex, it's the NSCH SAA Championship game. And today, it's going to be Chaminade and Holy Trinity, who have already put on two excellent battles. Hi again, everybody, and welcome to Hofstra University. Alongside Dylan Butler, I'm Dan Savarino. Dylan, we already know it. These are two of the top teams in the top three. They shared the regular season title with St. Anthony's, and both of these groups, after two spectacular first two meetings, return again to the championship.
It couldn't get better than this for these two teams. For us, we are so jacked up for this because of what they did in the regular season against each other. Like you said, look, Holy Trinity winning the second game in overtime with Thornton Scott back in the lineup, and Chaminade winning that first game. This is the championship game that we expected to see, the top two teams in the Catholic League, and they made it all the way to the final.
And two teams that have put on really, really difficult non-league schedules to prepare themselves for moments like this. And when you look at Chaminade, you look at a guy who's won actually a title in the past, the only member of the Flyers to do so, and it's Kyle Murphy.
He's been spectacular all year long. Murphy not only brings that leadership, he's got great range. He could knock it down from anywhere. He's that fierce competitor that you need, and he really is the engine that gets this Chaminade team going. But you mentioned Murphy at the top. You could mention probably 3 or 4 other guys. There's so many different guys who step up. They all can shoot the ball. They can all pass the ball. They're all interchangeable, which makes them so hard to defend.
And the same thing that Bob Paul, the head coach for Chaminade, said about Holy Trinity. Thornton Scott is a phenomenal guard, but so is Cam Winter. 37 points during that overtime win against the Flyers.
Yeah, usually it's cold during winter, but Winter was red hot against the Flyers, and he'll have to be again tonight. Look, again, he's a guy who could score in so many different ways. He's got a sweet touch. He can get to the basket, can knock it down from the outside as well. So he will very much be a valuable player for Trinity tonight.
So that's where we are. There's a championship on the line. When we come back, the starting lineup and the national anthem only on News 12 Varsity.
Who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther? The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
We are live from the David S. Mack Sports and Exhibition Complex, Hempstead, Long Island, New York. This is the NSCH SAA Championship game between the 19-5 Chaminade Flyers and the 19-6 Holy Trinity Titans. Hi again, everybody. Dan Savarino, Dylan Butler, Tom Schnars. Thanks so much for joining us on this Tuesday evening from Hofstra University. You see Bob Paul, the fifth-year head coach, a former Flyer himself. Take a look at his starting lineup. He'll go with his usual guys of Murphy, Paradine, Quinn, Connors, and McGuire. On the other side, Joe Comfrey, 11th year at the helm. Won a league championship in 2014. Last time the Titans were victorious. Their starting lineup: Winter, Scott, Taz Jenkins, Tyler Small, and then in the front court, it's Fabian Holder. The two teams split in the first two meetings during the regular season. And Dylan, we knew coming in that these were going to be two of maybe the top 3-4 teams inside of this entire league. Well, it turned out 3 teams atop for the regular season crown: Chaminade, St. Anthony's, Holy Trinity. The Titans get the 1 seed, Chaminade playing in that 2-3 game. But now it's these two groups that meet once again in the championship, and those first two battles, they were memorable games between the two.
Oh, without a doubt. I think every matchup really is, and you know, you could even take a step further and say that these were 2 of the top 3 teams. It really was, at the start of the year, a 3-horse race between Chaminade, Holy Trinity, and St. Anthony's, which made it so important to win the regular season, which Holy Trinity did. They avoided St. Anthony's in the semifinals. And of course, Holy Trinity beat St. John the Baptist in the semifinals, and a big hurdle for Chaminade beating St. Anthony's, especially the way they did by 16 in the semis.
And they were up 35-24 at halftime. Got a little closer at points, but 4 different players in double figures for Chaminade. Meanwhile, on the other side, that St. John the Baptist game, it was only a 6-point game at half, Dylan. And that's what was kind of crazy. They outscored by 23 in the second half. Winters 29 points, Scott another 22. And both of these teams, you can't just key in on one guy. There are so many different weapons out on the floor.
And that way, too, I think they mirror each other. And that, you know, it can't just be Winter or Scott. And the same, too, with the Flyers. It can't just be Murphy. Even O'Connell, the freshman, stepped up in a huge way this year. So they both have a lot of weapons. They both get up and down the court. They both score the basketball. So this should be a lot of fun.
We bring it down to center court. Thornton Scott for Holy Trinity wearing the white uniforms. It's Kyle Murphy wearing the red for Chaminade. Jeff Fox, John Grace, Kevin Harrington, our 3 officials for this evening. Thanks so much for joining us. Fresh 8 minutes on the clock, and the Titans win the tip. The chant is defense, defense from the Chaminade faithful. Good spin move by Winter. Rattles around the cup. Towing the baseline, just keep it in, Paradine, and here come the Flyers.
And you expect the same from Trinity. They're also in a man-to-man defense. It's all about matching up with your opponent. No zones of yet.
Both teams expecting to run multiple Ds throughout the night. You have to. And a turnover. Looking underneath the basket for Paradine.
Yeah, tried to bounce the ball down the low blocks and just wasn't there. So both teams empty possessions on their first opportunity. No doubt some nerves. This place is electric right now.
Something many coaches say all the time in big game situations, defense you can always play. That's something that's no excuse in these kind of moments. Sometimes you may shoot and be up a little bit. And now back-to-back empty-handed possessions as Fabian Holder will travel.
So now Holy Trinity showing some pressure off the inbounds, but it's a man-to-man pressure. Easily broken by the Flyers.
Into the front court for Paradine. Here comes the senior averaging 7 points per game, top of the key, guarded by Holder. Reagan Quinn inside to the right block in the first 2 points. It's Kellen Paradine.
Yeah, fantastic positioning by Paradine down low. All you got to do is turn and lay it up and in.
Those are 2 lacrosse players who are connecting. Paradine's going to play lax at Dartmouth. Here's a 3-pointer. It'll come up short rim from Tyler Small. And then a first foul came right on the baseline. It will go against Bobby Connors, his first and the team's first. So 2 shots upcoming for Fabian Holder, who averages 5 points per game. Doesn't put up the biggest numbers, just 4 in that last win against St. John the Baptist. 2 points in their first meeting. And drains the first, and really the only true front court presence that Holy Trinity has, because both teams, they kind of run 4 and out.
Yeah, it's all about the guard play, absolutely, in this one.
2 for 2. And if you can see, the Chaminade fans who are behind that basket all turn their backs away.
Listen, it's different perspectives from behind as a 3 ball.
Nothing but net. Bobby Connors. So a 5-2 advantage for the Flyers of Chaminade. Thornton Scott trying to feed inside. They'll move it back out to Winter. Winter had 37 points in that overtime victory. The second meeting of the 2. Here's Scott for a 3. Misses wide right. The carom to Regan Quinn, and they'll run.
And you see when Chaminade runs, they are all in great position. They're all great spacing on the court.
Quinn back to Kyle Murphy. Murphy, a 3-year varsity player and the only member on the hardwood who has won a championship. He'll go straight to the tin and give it a 7-2 lead.
Yeah, 2 really tough points inside because Scott was defending so hard.
Cam Winter, one of the captains, for 3, no good, and they're 0 for the first 2 from downtown. Far corner, here's Quinn. An air ball that's too long and into the hands of Holder. Tyler Small into the front court, drives straight to the rack, loses a handle on the ball. It will stay with Holy Trinity.
So your first instinct there when you see that is pull it back out, restart, but that's not what Holy Trinity does. They attack the basket with ferocity, so you expect them certainly to go and try to score again. They've scored 90-plus points in, 3 of their last 4 games.
Holy Trinity's been averaging about 70 per contest, but some turnovers here in the early going. Pulling up for a 3, yes, Bobby Connors. Timeout, Trinity. It's a 10-2 lead for the Flyers. 3 minutes and 8 seconds in. And they're loving it here at Hofstra.
Yeah, Flyer Nation, all clad in red, as is their team. They're excited, and that's part of the danger, right, of these Flyers. So many different guys could hurt you. So if you're defending, you've got to really have your head on a swivel and look all around and make sure, again, with the way they can pass the basketball, you've got to be sure that you're on your man.
Dylan, I'll tell you what, the stand's right over there to our right. That's called the Lions Den here. To our left, they're going to rename it the Flyers Den.
I'll tell you, though, it's a smaller group on our right, but the Trinity student faithful have come out, too.
Scott with a stutter step move on the baseline and lost the rock. In transition, Brendan McGuire picks up its dribble. Now Murphy will put it on the floor. Connors already with 2 3-pointers, looking for 2 more. Will miss, gets the board back.
Oh,
Underneath, Regan Quinn. Nobody took number 22.
what a fantastic pass down low.
And a quick response. And that is one that Holy Trinity needed. And a steal. Jenkins straight to the rack, and just like that, 4 quick points. Three-pointer, McGuire. Doesn't hit the front of the cup. Scott into the front court. Euro step, blocked away. Kyle Murphy. And our first sub will come out. It's Michael O'Connell, the freshman. His older brother graduated 2 years ago. Tom now playing lacrosse at Maryland and was a starter for this team on the basketball court. Thornton Scott out of the timeout and drops in a tray.
Now we're heating up.
A 7-0 run. It's a 12-9 contest. The response the other way, and Michael O'Connell straight off the bench.
Yeah,
That's
you'll hear, sorry, I was gonna say, you'll hear that chant, he's a freshman, as you're hearing it now. Doesn't look at the way he attacks the basket.
Yeah, sorry, Dylan, I can't even hear you. This place is getting very loud. Winter penetrates to the mid-block in the paint and got blocked away in traffic. It will stay with the Titans.
That's a great non-call, too. He tried to initiate the contact inside, and good job by the Chaminade interior defense, just standing strong.
Good officiating crew out there today. Many of them are college refs as well. Scott on the curl. And another air ball. Quinn's gonna come back onto the hardwood. As Bob Paul tried to get him out there as quick as possible, he'll replace Kellen Paradine.
And now you'll see them basically go with 5 guards at this point.
This is one of the youngest teams that Bob Paul has ever had. And not just in age, in terms of experience. Quinn was on the team last year, plenty of experience on the lacrosse field, as he will have, especially in a couple of weeks when we get started again. Here's Murphy, and a blocking foul inside of the paint.
Yeah, it's funny, it looked like the first one, there was contact, let that go, but on the second one, that's a foul, and he'll have to deal with those fans now behind the basket who are getting loud. There they are.
It's almost St. Patty's Day. The last day in February. As Murphy sinks the first free throw, he's got 3 points already. Foul went on Tyler Small, and the team's first. Meanwhile, Murphy at the line, averaging 14 points per contest. That leads Chaminade, 2 for 2. Cam Winter, kind of do it all, an all-league player, back-to-back years. He'll take it on the left wing, works out towards his right. Hard dribble into the paint, kicks out, Small. Stops and pops from 14, back iron. Fighting for the rebound, it will be Chaminade basketball with Bobby Connors. Up ahead, O'Connell to the left elbow. McGuire backs down to the defender, 3-pointer from Quinn. All nylon. 10-point lead, it's 19-9. Quinn has 5 points already in this opening quarter. Thornton Scott is getting plenty of looks, Division I and Division II level. Spin around move inside the paint, back iron with the right hand, rebounded by Connors.
And again, that's one thing I love to see from Chaminade. They get the rebound, all eyes are on the guy with the ball.
Murphy, off the back of the tin, the putback no good, but a fresh 35.
And that'll allow Bob Paul to quickly call out a play, get a reset.
O'Connell, another three. 22-9. And many of these points, Dylan, have been from downtown. Straight to the rack. And it bounces around to Tim for Cam Winter. He's got his first two. Some trouble in the backcourt for Connors. Gets it ahead, though. O'Connell driving baseline. Blocked underneath as Murphy couldn't get it to go. In transition, 2-on-2. Good step to the rack. Couldn't get the N1 opportunity, but Cam Winter is going to shoot a pair.
And we talked about Winter at the very start, averaging 18.6 points a game, a 3-year varsity player. I think a lot of the Titans' aggressiveness kind of starts with him.
He'll drain the first free throw. Very aggressive scorer being looked at by NYIT, Dominicans, and Division II schools throughout the New York region. Saw NYIT, actually some of the coaching staff is in the building tonight. So 2 for 2 at the line. It's a 22-13 game. Quinn being hounded by Taz Jenkins, the 5'9" guard. Quinn on the Hofstra logo, somehow gets the pass off to O'Connell. Near corner, McGuire, yes, another three.
I mean, they have been unconscious from outside today. Unbelievable.
Now remember, the three-point line in college, you see on the floor, it's a little bit further back.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't. They're shooting from NBA range as well. Timer turned off here. Now 10 seconds to play, and Cam Winter will hold for the final possession, trailing by 12. Gets the double team knocked off his foot. Paradine picks it up with 3 seconds. Too strong. That shot would not count. Even though they did not score in that, Chaminade with all the momentum after the steal. It's 25-13, 8 minutes in the books here in the NSCH SAA championship game.
On March 12th, starting at 11 a.m., watch the best of Long Island high school basketball battle for the right to be called champions. Live on Channel 14. This doubleheader begins at 11 a.m. with the Class A Finals, followed by the Class AA Finals at 1:30 p.m. Watch the best of Long Island high school basketball live on the big screen on Optimum Channel, Channel 14.
Second quarter here from Hofstra University. The championship game between Chaminade and Holy Trinity. It's really just been lights out shooting from beyond the arc, Dylan. That has propelled the Flyers to this kind of advantage in the first, and they are a very good front-running team.
Yeah, 5 3-pointers, so if you do the math, that's 15 of their 25 points from beyond the arc.
Reset the lineup for you. O'Connell has the rock right now. Quinn out there, along with Liam Drennan, who just checked in and now is dribbling the basketball. Murphy and McGuire. And Drennan will get his first two. For Holy Trinity, reset the lineup for you for the team wearing all white today. Cam Winter, Aiden Barry, who just came in for the first time himself, Thornton Scott, along with Tim Callahan and Tyler Small. Foul go against Aiden Barry, his first, and the team's second here in the half. First meeting between the two, it was a 71-68 win for Chaminade, moving to 4-0 inside of the conference. The second meeting was that overtime game. such a close contest, with Chaminade leading by 10 after the first. And then really it just turned into a much better outing from Holy Trinity. Once you hit the second, third, fourth quarters, got themselves to overtime and really stepped it up with Winter's 37 points. Last foul went on against Callahan. Bounce pass to the right lane, and easy with the right hand for Brendan McGuire.
Yeah, we saw Chaminade in the first quarter knock down 5 threes. Now they're getting to the basket, a putback and a layup to start the second quarter.
Here's Scott in traffic, and he'll draw himself a shooting foul as Thornton Scott, who broke his foot, believe it or not, back in October. Missed a couple of months on the season. His first game back was right before that game against Baldwin, which you can see here on News 12 Varsity, the Gary Charles Hoop Classic that was played at Adelphi. And their second game back for them, and he even said it after the contest, that was a statement game for them. And talking to Coach about it, he said the same exact thing. Yeah, it was. We were winning without him, but now you have a full roster.
Yeah, such a better team, of course, with him in the lineup.
29-15 after a 2-for-2 trip. Murphy between the circles will be guarded by Winter. The handoff to O'Connell. Crossover move, top of the key. Driving down the left side of the lane with ease. Kyle Murphy.
Yeah, that's just a simple curl. And Murphy gets around the screen and gets to the basket.
Holy Trinity this season. Losses to some very good teams, though. They fell to Farrell by 1. Thornton Scott pulls up for a 3. Offensive rebounds.
Oh,
good and 1. Tim Callahan. You have the foul to Brendan McGuire, his first, team's 4th. And Tim Callahan, who dropped 12 points in the second meeting, a guy who mostly has been off the bench this year, the junior, will have the N1 opportunity.
yeah, maybe the most impressive loss of the year for Trinity is to Mater Dei by 2 points.
Winners of their last 5. Callahan's N1 opportunity is good. It's 31-18. Still this man-to-man, 2-man in the backcourt pressure. It's broken. Murphy protects the ball and drives to the rack for another 2. He's got back-to-back buckets. Also 8 points of the 33 scored for the Flyers. Last touched off of Chaminade. This will end up being Holy Trinity basketball. For a team that, Dylan, only a couple of years removed from a championship, where last year they fell in the semifinals. The year before, they fell in the semifinals. Kellenberg both times. But back in 2014, Jimmy Golozewski's 22-12. He's now playing at Catholic University. That's what propelled them to that championship win, and eventually they actually went on in the Federation and went pretty deep.
Yeah, they had a great run that year, and no basket. Foul was before the opportunity.
Taj Jenkins will pick up his first. So fresh 35 on the timer, and an inbounds to the left of the basket. And a travel.
Steps, yeah.
Cam Winter was not on that team. Nobody was that's standing on the court right now that last won a title. Looking to do something not many teams have done at Holy Trinity. Put their name in the record book as champions. Scott would love to do that. The C's parted. They're down by 13.
That's a veteran play there by Scott. You see what he did was he used his body to protect between him and the defender, and then had a nice layup with his outside hands.
Murphy calling for a screen. Won't take it. He'll just weave past a couple of players. Thornton Scott with the block. Another chance. Couldn't get it off. It's Connors fighting underneath the basket. Aiden Barry. And he drawed himself a foul in the process. It will go against number 42. That's Liam Drennan. 2 will come on for the Flyers. As Quinn and Drennan will come off, they will be subbed in by Paradine and O'Connell. Chaminade has led the entire way, mostly by 3-pointers, where they were hitting nearly every shot attempt from the outside. Winter, crossover move. Hard pass inside, but into the hands of Kyle Murphy.
And he tried to force it inside to Barry.
Penetration to the basket. 3-pointer, Paradine. Ricochets out for a fresh 35. Murphy. Offensive foul. Callahan drawn it.
And that's the second time now we've seen such a big play by him. We start first on the offensive side, where he got the and one, and then defensive side drawing the charge.
Callahan to Taj Jenkins. Has the screen up high. Jenkins, a second-year varsity starter. And a kick ball.
It's a really important part of the game now, Dan, I think, for Holy Trinity, because you're down 13. If you can cut that down to single digits going into the break, what a momentum boost that'll be for you.
Chaminade has led at halftime in both of the meetings this season. But another turnover, and that has really been the Achilles heel for them so far here in the first. Crossover move, Connors. Now O'Connell bounces around the tin, loose right underneath in the restricted area. They're going to say a timeout was called by Holy Trinity on a good hustle play from Tim Callahan. Nice minutes he's had off the bench.
Yeah, that was huge too, and the basketball IQ that is shown there, because Chaminade had the possession arrow. So certainly if it's a tied ball, Chaminade gets possession. So important timeout there. And besides that, it's just an opportunity really just to talk over a few things here. Again, really important final 3:37. You've got to cut down on the turnovers. They're doing a better job defensively, locating the Chaminade players. Are not really opening guys. But again, with their cuts and working the weave and running off of screens, Chaminade is so difficult to defend.
That is something that both teams really said about one another, is just how difficult it is to defend. You can't just match up on one or two guys. It's not just Murphy or Connors or Quinn. There's so many different guys that scored tonight for Chaminade. For Holy Trinity, Cam Winter has somewhat been contained. And for a guy who's averaging close to 20 a night, only having 4 points, that is contained, but has a good balance along with Scott and the other role players on their group. So it makes a team, and that's what's always really been the Chaminade way in basketball.
But I'm sure Paul is telling his guys, although we've done such a great job on Winter, he can explode in a hurry. So they've done a good job so far, but there's still a lot of basketball left to be played.
A little more than 3.5 minutes to go here in the opening half of action. It's 33-20. The Flyers have led wire to wire. Cam Winter has just 4 points on only 1 field goal. Jenkins.
And now you're seeing that switch in D.
Drives inside, pump fake. Rattles around, comes out on the left block. Second chance, it's good. That was Barry. So Aiden Barry for his first 2 points. It's back to an 11-point contest. McGuire. Bounce pass, right block, Paradine, easy with the left hand.
Yeah, it just floats in along the baseline. Great job finishing by Paradine.
His season high actually came in that second meeting. And what a shot from Thornton Scott. Looking like Brian Bernardi out here with the 3-point shots. And if anybody knows Hofstra basketball, that guy is a sharp shooter to the max.
Yeah, you're bringing me back to his Zavarian days when I covered him in the city.
O'Connell stops and pops from 14, too long. An offensive rebound. Defensive rebound. Grabbed by Callahan. Scott pump fakes. 16-footer. Drains it. 35-27.
That was just so smooth. The nice pump fake, stepped in, hit the 14-footer.
He is in double figures and has his own 5-0 run. McGuire to Murphy, puts it on the floor, penetrates to the basket. Ooh. Offensive foul. Drawing it again, Tim Callahan. Second time he's done that in this quarter alone, Dill.
I tell you what, I thought that he had position and got around his defender, but clearly not the case. So just as we said, the deficit now sliced down to 8 with the ball.
That also puts Holy Trinity in the bonus for the remainder of this half.
Yeah, and also puts Murphy to the bench.
Scott takes the screen, finesses his way to the cup. A 7-0 run by himself. Brings him back to a 6-point contest. Good spin move, McGuire drops it in. That stretch player at 6'5" can really be a mismatch. Hurt most of last year and probably would have been on varsity as another three-pointer connects.
The bank is open for Scott.
He has the last 10 points for the Titans. Too long, Quinn, O'Connell. His first 2 of this quarter. 7-point game. There will be an 11-second differential between the shot and the game clock. Thornton Scott, multiple years an all-league player, and he's going to take his time.
I think he's within his range right now, too.
Dribbles between his legs, takes the screen. Winter, moving inside. Barry couldn't get it to go. Shot clock is turned off. 7 seconds left. McGuire kisses right off the front of the rim. Offensive rebound, another miss. One more effort. And a foul. Bobby Connors with some tenacious rebounding.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth, and it's not just Connors, though. It was everybody in a red jersey just attacking that glass. And you see a smart move by Paul. He wants to make sure there's no foul that could be called and put one of his guys in any foul trouble heading into the second.
Peter Barron, the sophomore, Tim Phillips, the senior. The second free throw is good, and that's going to end the first half. So Chaminade has led through 2 quarters of play. The 3-ball was the story in the first, the offensive rebounding the story in the second. But Thornton Scott on the other side, Dylan, for Holy Trinity, getting them back into this game. He scored 10 straight Titan points.
Listen, Dan, we said it with about 3 minutes to go. If they can get it to single digits, their deficit, they'll feel pretty good about themselves. The score is 9, or the deficit is 9 going into the second half.
41-32, it's the NSCH SAA championship game. Stay tuned, we'll be back with the third quarter, only on News 12 Varsity.
On March 11th, starting at 5 p.m., watch the best of New Jersey high school basketball battle for the right to be called champions, live on Channel 14.
At the buzzer, good!
This doubleheader begins at 5 p.m. with the non-public B finals, followed by the non-public A finals at 7 p.m. Watch the best of New Jersey high school basketball live on the big screen on Optimum Channel, Channel 14.
The MAC, Hofstra University. A 41-32 lead for Chaminade. They led through 2 quarters. Meanwhile, on the other side for Holy Trinity, Thornton Scott has 17. Dan Savarino, Dylan Butler, Tom Schnars, thanks so much for joining us for the NSCH SAA championship game. Titans going from left to right. They wear their white uniforms. Chaminade in their all reds with the gold numbering and the white trim. Where he set the lineup for you, it's Tyler Small, Cam Winter, Thornton Scott, Fabian Holder, along with Taj Jenkins. Still playing in this man-to-man is Chaminade. They'll go with their starting lineup. As Holder takes it outside. We'll give you that lineup in just a brief second. Winter, with 8 seconds on the timer. Now Thornton Scott have scored 10 straight Holy Trinity points. Driving inside the paint, pull back from about 10 feet out, no good. Offensive rebound, couldn't grab it, and it's pulled in by Kyle Murphy. He's out there with Quinn, McGuire, Connors, who lays in the first 2 points. And Paradine.
Yeah, 10 now for Connors in the game. First double-digit score for Chaminade, but as has been the case all year, it's been a balanced attack for the Flyers.
2 teams that are 19-6 on the season, 2 teams with very difficult non-conference schedules. Good move by Thornton Scott, but better defense. McGuire, he knocked down a tray to start off the game for him, and he's had 7 points through that first half. Connors, the jump pass. Top of the key, Quinn now on the right block. Paradine, good post move. Kisses right off the front of the tin and rebounded by Tyler Small.
Well, good recognition, too, by the Flyers, getting into Paradine when he had the mismatch.
3-pointer, here's Small. No good. Regan Quinn, a Virginia lacrosse commit. Meanwhile, Scott right in front of press row, and you see us down there as well. How's it going? McGuire to Quinn. Such a phenomenal athlete. Stripped of the ball, and it will go back to Holy Trinity. Bob Paul very displeased with the call from the official.
Yeah, but it was the right call. Great defense by Taj Jenkins. The ball went off of Quinn's leg.
Jeff Fox, John Grice, and Kevin Harrington, the 3 in the stripes today. Small still looking for his first bucket of the day. Bounce pass back out to Winter, held to just 6. Pull up from 10 feet away, front rim again. Ricochets to the near corner, and they get tangled up over there as well. It will stay with Tyler Small and Holy Trinity.
Right in front of those crazy fans who now have like photo recognition of their favorite players.
Gotta love Sparty over there, but that's not his name. They're the Titans. He's been hitting the gym.
Sparty.
A miss on the 3 from Scott. In transition, on the right block, McGuire. Timeout, Holy Trinity. Joe Comfrey's gonna talk things over. 13-point lead. It got down to 6 late in that second quarter. They have led through the first 3 halves in the 3 meetings between the 2 teams. But Dylan, when you talk about Chaminade basketball, I mean, you know what you're getting. A storied program, a coach that is an alumnus himself, but they really tested themselves in the non-league. Elmont, Hewlett, Lehigh. They fell in some of those games, but then rattled off 15 straight wins before back-to-back losses to the 2 teams they share the regular season title with.
Yeah, and then if they, maybe at that point there's some questions, right? Maybe they ran out of gas, but they ended the regular season with a win over St. John the Baptist and to beat St. Anthony's in the semifinals, and that was a big testing point because a year ago it was the Friars who beat their rival Flyers in the playoffs. So big win by Chaminade to prove that they are back. And again, you know, both of these teams with the non-league schedule that you mentioned, Holy Trinity as well, playing Mater Dei. They went to New Jersey as well to play, I believe it was St. Augustine.
Yes.
Early in the year. Those teams are legit. Mater Dei is in our top 20 right now. St. Augustine, they're not in our footprint. If they were, they'd be a top 10 team.
Off the timeout, Cam Winter gets his first 2 of the second half. But yeah, you said it. I mean, even when talking to Bob Paul today, he told me that second meeting with them, he felt they were just on defense the entire time. That's not even really possible, but that's just a feeling. As McGuire picks up another quick 2 points, it's 47-34. He now has 11. Scott lowers the shoulder, the floater, bounces around the Tim, second chance, and there's gonna be a foul. It will be a push that goes against number 50, that's Kellen Paradine, his first.
And that'll send Scott to the line to shoot 2.
So Paradine picks up Chaminade's first foul, and Thornton Scott, who gets the chance of overrated. Not too sure
I don't know
about that one.
Yeah.
Right now being recruited by a variety of Division I teams, Marist, Niagara.
I think when you drop 17 in the first half, I don't know if you're going to start chirping the guy.
Since he came back, averaging just under 17 points per contest. And arguably one of the best shooters on Long Island. And you see why with some of the three-pointers he's already made. 2 for 2 at the free throw line. And the trap works.
Yeah, that's the pressure coming off the inbound. They forced it right in front of the Holy Trinity bench, which is the last place you want to put the ball. Results in a turnover.
So a chance to bring it back to single digits. Tyler Small, second-year varsity starter, and now Scott inside the paint. Winter, pump step, and it works. A little pump. Brings it back to a 9-point game. Winter has 4 points in the second half, 10 in the contest. Double figures all but 3 games this season. And some of them were losses. What an acrobatic move on the other side. O'Connell.
And that's what he has, that great athleticism like his brother Tommy did. I mean, to be fair, his brother still has it. He's just currently at Maryland, displaying it on the lacrosse field.
O'Connell will pick up the foul on the floor. Winter weaves his way through the D, gets another opportunity. And look at the plethora of red jerseys. O'Connell comes away with the rock, coast to coast, and the foul.
Yeah, Joe Conifrey wanting a travel on the other end on the catch off the rebound down low, but doesn't get the call. O'Connell to the line. The interesting thing about Mike O'Connell, and I'm shocked that I haven't called him Tommy yet. First free throw is up and good. Is when you talk to Bob Paul, he's the first freshman in maybe ever to be on the varsity team. They don't do that at Chaminade in any sport.
No. Very few underclassmen ever find their way on a varsity team. Poked up, Winter, and a miss. Jenkins draws the foul and gets fired up. So go against Brendan McGuire, his second, team's third here of the third quarter.
And one more thought on O'Connell. What's interesting here, like his brother, he's a multi-sport guy, plays football, but especially he's a lax guy. Will we see him on the varsity team? There was a great group of sophomores a year ago that if you speak to St. Anthony's coach Keith Weisrick said we're maybe the best in the nation.
Yeah. A lot of people saying that about the sophomore class. Cross season a couple of weeks away, and some of these guys will be out there. 2 for 2 for Taj Jenkins. Checking in was Liam Drennan. Far corner thinking about the three. McGuire stops at the right elbow. Connors penetrates. Scoop shot, second chance. Tips it in. Bobby Connors. 12-point lead. Scott has the screen. Matched up with Drennan. He's quicker than him, so drives inside. And Holder will be fouled on the left block.
I think in some of these situations, I would like to see Scott maybe be a little more selfish, you know, where, as you said, he had to step on his defender. Instead, he passed the ball up.
Third foul against Liam Drennan. Oh, check that, actually, third foul will go against Kyle Murphy.
And that's why he goes to the bench now.
Be replaced by Regan Quinn. So the senior guard heads back out there. And Holder sinks both free throws. to bring it back to a 10-point contest.
And I'll tell you what, Trinity's done a great job from the free throw line.
Jump ball's called. Possession arrow will stay with the Flyers. Last game, Holy Trinity, when they had to play St. John the Baptist, and they played that very loose, aggressive freestyle, really came after them. Again, they were better in the second half. Bank shot by Bobby Connors. He has 6 here in the half alone and 14 in the game. But Cam Winter with another good move straight to the rack. He dropped 29 in that win. You always forget the fact it was a 6-point game at halftime with them leading and playing in that 1 seed. Both coaches have said it. It really doesn't make much of a difference for them. You know, there's arguments. You play in the 3, you have to get an extra game in there. You play in the 2, all right, you still have to play St. Anthony's. That's never good. You play the 1, you avoid them. So there's really no definite on if it's a great thing to be the 1 seed. Either way, both of them are here today. McGuire from the foul line. Connors kicks out. Here's a 3. Quinn spins out. Scott, Holy Trinity with the carom. Takes the screen from Holder. Drives the right side of the paint. And the hook shot falls.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
21 for Thornton Scott. The response, Brendan McGuire. Scott will be fouled, and this will be Drennan's 3rd. Thornton Scott, you have to give him so much credit. Joe Comfrey telling me that this is a guy who, when he was on the bench and injured for those few months, and there he is again. When he was injured for those few months, he was like another assistant coach out there. Very supportive, was never really getting down on himself. That's probably why he responded as well as he did. He now has 23, and it's back to a single-digit game. Quinn on the wing. Short corner, Drennan. A high dribble, gets it over. O'Connell. Drennan. And the foul.
And listen, that's just basketball 1-on-1. That's boxing out your opponent, having good position on the low blocks with a quick finish in the putback.
Liam Drennan, a first-year varsity player as a sophomore. Has the makings of being one of the very good forwards in the Catholic League. They've been strong on the glass. Bobby Connors with the offensive board. It will be a jump ball. Possession will bring it back to Holy Trinity. Kellen Paradine.
And again, you see the depth of Chaminade, right? They're just bringing in guys. They go a good, you'd say like 8 deep, 9 deep.
Paradine for Quinn. Callahan for Scott. Cam Winter, 6 points here in the half. He had 6 back in the first. Scott's already more than 20. Tyler Small lowers the shoulder, pulls back, mid-range jumper, and it falls. Connors spins away from the other number 15 in Small. O'Connell, now McGuire, thinking about the three-pointer. So McGuire has for you. He's got range. He can put the ball on the floor. And at 6'5", has that wingspan. Drives to the rack, no good. Scott swats it away. It'll go back to Holy Trinity, and Bob Paul is asking for some help.
I don't blame him on that. I feel like it went off on the Scott swat.
Winter on the near wing. Has the screen, feels the double team. Now Scott drives down the left side, tries to feed a pass to Holder. Thinking about the three. Winter, pump fake amongst the trees.
Oh, they're calling a jump. Thought there was contact there. Chaminade possession.
I think Joe Coffrey has a good reason to argue about that.
I think they both have reason to argue on the last two possessions, which I guess would make it even now.
Under a minute to play in the third. O'Connell into the front court. Connors, skip pass, far wing. McGuire from the right elbow. Splash. 60-49.
Yeah, just a fantastic shot.
Five-second differential between the timer and the game clock. Holy Trinity has actually had the basketball on one of the final possessions in the half both times. They haven't scored, though. So each quarter that's happened. Small. Pump fakes on the three, drives inside, and lays it in with the right hand. Back to a 9-point game. O'Connell, 1 second. Top of the key jumper, Quinn, back iron, and that's how the third quarter ends. It's now a 9-point game, the same as it was at halftime. Chaminade has led through 3 quarters. They're just 8 minutes shy of hoisting another NSCH SAA championship. Does Holy Trinity have a comeback in them? Find out. It's going to be a fun finish, only on News 12 Varsity.
Who will rise higher, dunk harder, and go farther? The playoffs are here. Tune to News 12 Varsity all postseason long.
While all of those teams will be competing for a championship this weekend, we will have plenty more basketball, even in this arena.
Yeah.
But it's all high school basketball. But this upcoming weekend, as we get things started, girls will be at 11 a.m. That'll be the A championship. Then we'll have some boys basketball afterwards, so you'll hear nothing but myself, Matt Shortis. I think you're coming out here as well.
I'm here for all the games.
You're not leaving. You can't get rid of Dylan Butler. Sorry about that.
I like the hot pretzels here. They've got good churros. I'll be good all day, thanks.
9-point game, 8 minutes on the clock as we begin the fourth quarter. Chaminade and Holy Trinity. Scott has 23 points, that's a game high. Winter, hard move on the spin, will miss. 12 points now in the contest, 6 in the third quarter alone. Nearly poked away by Aiden Barry. Regained for the Flyers. It's Murphy, McGuire, Quinn, Paradine, and Connors, the 5 wearing the red uniforms. Winter, Thornton, Small, Callahan, and Barry. Trying to feed downstairs was McGuire looking for Quinn and a turnover.
Yeah, forced pass in the low blocks. Bob Hall imploring his team that they've got to keep playing. 9 points is nothing. Not when you have that guy on the court.
Yeah, he knows it. Was saying to me this morning, Dylan, Small will miss. This team, I mean, there's so many different pieces. They're so well coached, just in the blink of an eye. And he remembered that fourth quarter and overtime in the second meeting that Holy Trinity won, feeling they played on defense the entire time. That is what the Titans will look to do again. Quinn to a trailing Connors down the near side of the court. Will pull up for a long two, will miss. Paradine tries to put back. And a turnover.
Yeah, it's a miscommunication where it was Barry trying to get the ball to Scott, but the pass had too much mustard on it. It goes out of bounds, Chaminade ball, and certainly expect the Flyers to utilize as much of the 35-second shot clock on every possession as they can.
McGuire from way downtown. 63-51.
That was from a different area code.
From Hempstead Turnpike. Small will miss on a three-point attempt. McGuire loses the rebound. Callahan, too far amongst the trees. A foul underneath the basket. Tyler Small will shoot a pair. That'll be Connor's second personal. Tyler Small, all league as a sophomore, now as a junior. You see the rebounding and physical presence he's brought on the court today against Bobby Connors. It's been a pretty good matchup between the two. O'Connell will come in for Paradine. And Taz Jenkins will sub in for Aiden Barry. So it takes away some size, and Jenkins, again, only at 5'9", guy who can knock down some three-pointers. Provides an extra shooter on the floor, trailing by 11. 1 for 2. Push into tempo, far side. McGuire penetrates, wide open. Connors for 3, all nylon.
You can't give him that time and space. He will bury it time and again.
Now a 14-point game. Small pulls back from 10 feet away. Nothing but net. 66-54, 5.5 minutes to play. McGuire to O'Connell, who was dashing his way right towards the basket. A second will come off the shot clock. And an inbound for the Flyers. Quinn, Connors, wide open. O'Connell hits it again.
Oh, the ball movement, just excellent. Inside out, back out to O'Connell.
Winter with a much-needed response, his first 2 of the 4th. A home run pass just kept in on the baseline by McGuire. And that was almost like a coffin corner where you just call a timeout afterwards. A good punt. Chaminade still has the basketball. 5:06 to play here in the 4th, 69-56. The Flyers have led Holy Trinity the entire contest thus far. And Dylan, when you look at Chaminade so far this season, what a year again it has been, considering how young they are in terms of experience. They have been well coached. They have tested themselves on a difficult schedule. And even the games that they have lost this year, and we mentioned it before, after that Christmas break, games against Elmont, Hewlett, Lehigh, that's when things started to really come together, and to be able to get it done in league, which is such a difficult league to win, they still finish at 10-2.
And listen, you know, it doesn't hedge on one guy, of course, the way this team operates. But remember, too, Mike O'Connell is coming off an injury from the football season. Didn't play in those losses early in the season. So they're a different team, a little deeper of a team with another threat with O'Connell. And I think you're seeing that, or you saw that, through the rest of the regular season. 3
straight 19-win seasons in the 5 now for Bob Paul. A Flyer alumnus. He played for the legendary Coach Klin. Assistant over at Iona for a year, before coming over to Mineola to rejoin his alma mater. Out of the Flyer timeout, they're down to 4. Quinn will inbound with 5:06 to play in the 4th. McGuire against Winter. They switch up that matchup. O'Connell, the floater, kisses the glass. You sure he's a freshman?
Yeah. That's bad news for the rest of the Catholic League.
And there's the chant. He's a freshman. Small. Count it and the foul. He's got that size, loves to body guys up inside of the paint, and will now have a 3-point play the old-fashioned way. Foul goes against Connors, his 3rd. And one opportunity is good. Down the near sideline, feels the double team. Good pass, excellent ball movement, getting it to the front court. Quinn, plenty of space, opens up the bank.
I mean, they just shredded that pressure.
Here's a 3-pointer. Taz Jenkins bounced it right off the front of the rim. 14-point lead.
Yeah,
4:15.
Sorry, Dan. I think the Flyers are starting to smell the blood in the water. Oh, what a pass.
O'Connell heading to the free throw line.
15 wide on the foul.
Small will pick up the foul, and that will be the team's 4th.
That's what I was saying before. The ball movement, the crisp cuts they make to the basket. I tell you, probably showing my age here, but Mike O'Connell's mom, a terrific softball player when I was at St. John's. Tara Felix at the time.
Just runs in the blood. They knew he was going to have an expanded role by the end of the season, and you could tell why. Even that second meeting, career high 23. Double figures tonight. An offensive board for Quinn. Leading it ahead, Bobby Connors. Connors had himself one heck of a game thus far. This has really been team basketball. Swatted away by McGuire underneath the hoop.
Smart play by O'Connell. He could have went cross court and forced something, instead slowed it down, realizing the time and the score.
To the mid-block, Quinn feeds to the near side. Connors floats it out between the circles. Check that, actually it was Murphy down low. Quinn with 8 on the timer. Turn around, gets the roll.
That's just a perfect possession for the Flyers.
As you could expect, the largest lead of the game. Winter got the foul call.
How about Bob Paul going over to the Chaminade crowd and just getting them crazy.
Check that, they're gonna call a push-off. They're gonna call a push-off against Cam Winter. Timeout, Holy Trinity. And the Chaminade faithful are loving every minute of it.
Including Spider-Man. Who knew Spider-Man was a Chaminade fan?
The band came out to celebrate. The fans came out to support. This building, and I've seen plenty of games in it as a Hofstra alumnus myself, and I've called games in this building as well. I mean, it has been a really nice crowd. Don't have the exact number for you, but once you start seeing fans make your way up to the 200s, that's when you know you're, of course, a little more than half capacity. Even in the suite, they're enjoying it up there as well. Think they have those pretzels for you up there?
I don't know. I didn't get one today.
We'll have to wander our way up to the suites. I have to call in some favors for that one. 79-59 in his 4th quarter.
I should have asked.
All Chaminade.
I should have asked Richie Nuttall. Maybe he would find a way to get me up there.
Men's soccer coach, who was out here. Murphy's been playing with fouls today, so maybe not the biggest game statistically for him. But he knows he's 240 away from winning his 2nd title. Connors penetrates and gets fouled.
And again, the Chaminade offense, it's all about just individual matchups. And if you beat your man, you're getting to the basket. And how about closing this game out the way Chaminade is doing right now? It's already an 8-0 run.
Bobby Connors more than 20 points today, and heading over to the bench is the freshman O'Connell. 2 for 2. Check that, 1 for 2. 80-59 is the score. Here's Barry underneath the basket. Jenkins will have to pull out to the left wing. Jenkins, crossover move. Pulling in the rebound, Chaminade. They have done an excellent job on the glass and a better job in transition. Here's Peter Barron.
Well done.
Just textbook basketball from start to finish. Tyler Small will pick up the personal foul with under 2 minutes to play.
And I tell you, I mean, if you play Chaminade, as it's a 1-and-1 bonus now, you've really got to have your basketball IQ up, because they make you think, they make you work.
Remember, the season would not end. Chaminade holds on, which right now they're in a comfortable position to do so. They would end up playing the winner of Canisius and St. Francis. St. Francis 20-5, Canisius 17-9 out of Buffalo. The upstate champion, they then play at Canisius College on March 4th. And then a winner of that game will play in the state final against one of the New York City teams in the A. There's still plenty of basketball potentially to be played. As Small draws himself a shooting foul. Trailing by 23.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I don't think either of us, and I don't know if many here, expected this lopsided of a scoreline right now, in part because of how close the two regular season games were. Oh boy.
A wholesale change upcoming for the Flyers.
This is a line change.
Well, Chaminade hockey played last week. That's over. .90 seconds to play. Barron to McGuire, who's had himself a really good game. Back to Bobby Connors, more than 20 points tonight. No look pass, McGuire. He'll skip it out to the near wing and just kill off more time. 2 seconds, 1 shot clock violation, and that will allow the subs to come in and get ready for the ovation. It would be the 8th championship in the CHSAA. The years, 89, 93, 94, 01, 03, 08, 2013. Bob Paul's first championship in 2015, and in less than a minute, his second in 2017. Hard block underneath by Fabian Holder. Still good sportsmanship picking up Eamon Turbity, another senior. They've won 2 state titles. That came in 03 and 94, and of course they'll still look to continue that. Well, 3-point shooting started this game. Kevin Lumpy will sink his first shot, and that extends it to an 85-62 advantage. That's 7 to cherry on top. And Tyler Small, who is a junior, and will be playing basketball again next year for Holy Trinity. Shot clock is turned off. 10 seconds to play. It was a 9-point lead at halftime, a 9-point lead after the third. A 20-point victory. The Chaminade Flyers, your NSCH SAA champions in 2017.
Well, hey, you can't say they haven't earned that championship, and what a feeling it is for these Flyers and for their fans behind the basket. The handshake, tears, hugs, really what you expect out of a hard-fought championship game.
20-point lead. We'll be back and talk to one of the victorious Flyers in just a couple of moments after their victory over Holy Trinity. We'll be back with more on News 12 Varsity.
On March 12th, starting at 11 a.m., watch the best of Long Island high school basketball battle for the right to be called champions. Live on Channel 14. This doubleheader begins at 11 a.m. with the Class A Finals, followed by the Class AA Finals at 1:30 p.m. Watch the best of Long Island high school basketball live on the big screen on Optimum Channel, Channel 14.
Welcome back to News 12 Varsity. The champions this year, Chaminade, a 20-point win over Holy Trinity. We're here with our MVP of the game, Brendan McGuire, 18 points in the game. Just overall from you guys, start to finish, right out of the gate, the three balls working back in that first quarter. What worked throughout this entire contest?
Well, you're just trying to move the ball, play good defense, and just get out and run.
You mentioned about moving the basketball, and that's something you guys did very well. A lot of guys contributed to this win tonight, but really all season long. What does it show about the teamwork?
That's how we play. We play as a team. We just want to move the ball. Everybody gets involved. Anyone can score the most points every night, and that's it.
When you remember the first two meetings of Holy Trinity, obviously the first one you guys win, second one, that overtime game. From start to finish in this one, it was pretty much your ball game, even though they kept creeping back. What was the difference, and what were the adjustments made?
It was the defense we played. We played a lot harder, and we rebounded the ball really well. That was the keys to the game.
When you look at this win overall, I mean, just to be able to win a championship now and to be able to call yourself a champion, how does that feel?
Feels great. Just great to win it with these guys. We worked really hard. It was great.
You mentioned about a lot of the younger guys in this team, too. Big games from Bobby Connors and Mike O'Connell. Really just a complete team effort. You know, what does it show about even the younger guys who have very limited experience of varsity and playing in big game moments?
Yeah, the seniors showed all the younger guys how to play, how to move the ball, and it just worked. All the younger guys stepped up, and they played really well.
Just think of the crowd today in this atmosphere.
It was great.
Moving on now, I mean, obviously it's not over yet. You still have Federation. You still have the state championship on the line. How does this continue?
Just got to keep playing the same way we do. Move the ball, play defense, and continue to get wins.
Brendan McGuire, 18 points today, MVP honors for Chaminade, and they are your champions in 2017. That's going to do it for us here at News 12 Varsity. Many thanks to our entire crew, as always. For my broadcast partner, Dylan Butler, our producer, Tom Schnars, I'm Dan Savarino saying thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.